Hi, my friends. How are you? I am so excited to bring you this November video. It is by Connie Jo, and it is going to be so amazing because she is going to go through she's going to go through the very best days of the month for each sign. She's also going to show you what it's like and what the energy is going to bring to you when the moon comes back to your moon sign. She's also going to give you your opportunity days. So, the best days for love and money. And she just does such a great job on this video. And I cannot wait for her to tell you all about it. So, listen for your sun, moon, rising, your Venus, and maybe even Mars sign. Um, because this is going to be a juicy fruit month. And I hope wherever you are at in the world that you are having a wonderful November or start to your November. So here's Connie.
So I can't wait to tell you about the astrology of November 2023. I'll be going through the best days for love and for money for each sign. So be sure to listen to your sun, rising, and moon sign so that you'll have a really good idea what the best days are for you and how they're going to go. These are opportunity days. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to come into the lottery or that you're going to find the love of your life, but there might be an opportunity to do so. I'm also going to tell you when the moon will be in your sign and some of the best ways to take advantage of that energy when it's in each sign. Now, for November 1st, we start out with a holiday celebration that's celebrated over much of the world, and it's known as All Saints Day, the Day of the Dead, um, All Hallows Eve. So I think that's Halloween, and Samhain. Those are some of the names for the celebration. But basically, the ancients knew that the veil was really thin that day between the 3D and the 5D, and that contacting those that had passed on could be possible on that day. So I know that the people that listen to this channel are full of spiritual gifts. So this is a great day to take advantage of that and use it for meditation, mediumship, or even magic. I do want to say, before we go on to all of the rest of the transits, that these transits most definitely apply to everything that's going on in the world right now. They will affect the universe, the collective, just like they affect us on an individual level. But I'm going to make it more personal. So this is just for us, for our personal planning and enjoyment, and not necessarily what I think the transits are going to do for the world at large. So the next transit happens on November 3rd. And this is when the Sun in Scorpio opposes Jupiter in Taurus. Now, this is for most part a pretty positive transit. It can cause us to search our hearts for what we really have faith in, what we really believe in, how we want to expand our lives. But it can also bring on arrogance and boastfulness and greed. It's like the sun, the ego, and Jupiter get together in that opposition, and there may be envy or greed. You know, the ego wants what it wants, and Jupiter is willing to expand and give it, but they're in an opposition, remember? Especially in the earth sign of Taurus, this is so where we kind of want the physical things in life. The sun in Scorpio wants to dig in deeper to the things that are maybe not so physical. So you might find that the people around you might exaggerate that day, or you may exaggerate that day, what they can do. Or, you know, if you went to a job interview, this might be where you really exaggerate your talents and your strengths. That's the kind of transit that this is. So, actually, on that same day, we also have a transit of Venus and Virgo opposing Neptune in Pisces. So this is really interesting because on the same day that we need to watch being boastful or arrogant, we also need to watch having illusions with love or money. And be aware that it's easy to over idealize things like love situations or even money situations. And it's easy to have misunderstandings this day regarding those things. So we just might not see our love and money clearly. It's definitely not a great day to make investments, probably not a great day to go on a first date, but it could be a great day to kick back, go dancing, listen to music, and just enjoy yourself. Enjoy that Neptune, Venus energy, but just don't get over enthused about the love and money situations, but until you can see them clearly again, right? So on the 4th of November, Saturn goes direct at 0 degrees of Pisces. Yay! I hear a collective cheer from everybody that has a lot of Capricorn in their chart, a lot of Saturnian energy in their chart. It's time for that energy to go direct. So, because Saturn is the planet of karma, and when it's retrograde, that amplifies karma. We revisit, retrogrades are all about the things. When Saturn goes direct, it's like all the places in our chart that have been stagnant are going to pick up speed again. So think of the house that Capricorn rules. Think of the house in your chart where you have Saturn. And if things have kind of come to a standstill or even seem to go backwards, this is the day that things are going to start to turn around. So also on November 4th, we have Uranus in Taurus opposing Mercury in Scorpio. So this can really speed up the thought processes because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, but it's a nervous kind of energy that comes upon us when we have this opposition. So even though you might have flashes of innovation, flashes of brilliance, it's probably not the day to make solid plans or the day to schedule events, put things on your calendar, but maybe it's a great day to brainstorm. But warning, try not to speak too quickly. You might say something you regret. So just try to go with the flow. So then we have on November 6th. This is a really nice aspect, everybody. So we have Venus and Scorpio making a trine to Pluto in Capricorn. So this is really intense for love. It can even be intense for your finances as well. But if you fall in love this day, it could be a love that lasts for a long time. But as I said, this is a very intense feeling that you have toward your partner or in your relationship. And it can even be a bit obsessive, but for the most part, it's a really nice transit. We also have Mercury in Scorpio making a trine to Neptune in Pisces. So again, the trines are harmonious aspects. That's when the planets really get along together. So I think the 6th is going to be a good day for everybody. With Mercury and Neptune, just turn on your imagination. It's like, let the imagination flow. This is an aspect that a lot of actors have because they're able to tap into their mercurial energy, their thought processes, and also that Neptunian energy that is boundless. There's no boundaries with Neptune. So you can let your imagination just go anywhere. You're able to access your imagination easily that day. And whereas sometimes Neptune can leave us feeling foggy or like we don't see situations clearly, this might not be a day to make serious decisions, but the trine, like I said, is harmonious. So it might be a great day to daydream and think about what you'd like to do with your imagination, how you want to spend that time. Think about all the things that are Neptunian, that are boundless, endless, the spiritual, the good things. And by the way, it's also a great transit for honing in on your psychic abilities. I didn't say this, but a lot of psychics also have connections between Mercury and Neptune because Neptune is that spiritual world and then Mercury taps right into it. So this might be a great day to practice up on your psychic skills. So on the 8th, again, we have Mercury coming into a sextile with Pluto in Capricorn. So again, this Scorpio Capricorn combination going on. So Mercury sextiling Pluto is actually another harmonious aspect. It may not be quite as harmonious as the trine, but they work together well when they're in sextile together. So your thinking may really become deeper on this day. You may be thinking of secrets or digging up secrets from someone else. This is a good time to investigate. It's a good time to study. It's a good time to, use that Pluto Mercury operating to ask for a raise. Have that conversation, deep conversation that you've been wanting to have and you've been putting off, because this is really good energy for that. Just remember that this sextile is very persuasive. So someone may be trying to persuade you. It could go both ways. Also, on the 8th, we have Venus going into Libra. Hooray! Venus loves to be in Libra. And as a collective, I think when Venus is in Libra, we become a little more harmonious, a little more balanced, maybe. We want things to be fair. We like to see the beauty in things. I think we also look more toward our relationships. And that doesn't just mean our relationship with our partner or our significant other, but all relationships. And we want those relationships to be more harmonious. So Libra's finally happy and it makes everybody else happy. On the 10th, Mercury moves into Sagittarius and it moves into a square with Saturn and Pisces on the same day. It's in its detriment there. Mercury actually doesn't really enjoy being in Sagittarius, but when it is there, these people are broad minded that have this natally. So we all might, think more about what we really believe in, what we have faith in. Our thinking processes may be more expansive and also more optimistic. But Mercury in Sagittarius also wants freedom and freedom to say what it wants to say. If you know anybody or you have your Mercury in Sagittarius, there's not a lot of a filter there sometimes. You just pretty much say what you think. And actually, you believe what you say as well. It's a very interesting aspect, but it does move into that square with Saturn. Ugh. Okay, this can bring on negative thinking. This can bring restrictions to our thought processes. You might feel a little isolated, a little lonely. It might be a good day to work alone. Thankfully, Mercury moves quickly and this transit only for one day. It also brings this nagging feeling that something could go wrong. That's kind of how Saturn works when it's in a square or opposition or any negative aspect. It kind of brings on this nagging doubt or fear that something isn't right, even though you may not know what it is. It could be something so intangible that you don't even understand why you're feeling that way, but you just do. It's like this nagging that you have inside and in your mind, in your head. Also, Saturn represents authority. So on this day, this is when you might be criticized by the boss or your parents or someone that is in some kind of authority over you, or have some kind of argument or run in with them. That's why I say, spending alone time today is not a bad thing. Just know that authority figures might challenge you on this day. And if you are an authority figure, you might be the one doing the challenging. So now that you know what's going on, you can be more careful how you approach your employees or your children or whatever the case might be. On a much happier note, I am proud to announce that my relocation charts and reports are now in the Soul Navigation shop. So go check them out. This is a report where you can pick any city in the world and you pick three, and it will tell you how you'll feel, if you'll find love, about your career, about the culture. It changes your chart when you move. Astrocartography is amazing, and you'll love being able to explore how you might act, feel, and be in another city in the world or the US or wherever you are. So go check out these relocation reports. It comes with the relocated chart, the report, and also a system where it ranks by numbers, your love, career, culture, family, all of those things. You're going to love it. If you'd like to book a reading with me and learn more about that or anything else that we're talking about or your personal transits, you can find the link below. So our next aspect is on 11/11, and we're going to have Mars in Scorpio making an opposition to Uranus and Taurus. Now, if anything brings on nervous energy, it's Mars with Uranus. You might feel anxious, nervous on this day. Remember, 11/11, the people around you may seem unpredictable. You may be unpredictable. You might act impulsively. For me, this is kind of a road rage aspect where you act really impulsively or you get angry about something and then possibly do something you might regret. So, yeah, this aspect can cause accidents. Now, it doesn't have to be that way, but it could. So, you need to know kind of all of the possibilities when these aspects come about. So, just be careful on the road, or be careful what you say or actions that you take that seem impulsive, because they probably are, and you might do something that you regret later. So just keep all of that in mind for November 11th. So on November 13th, which also happens to be my husband's birthday, on November 13th, we have the new moon in Scorpio. This is kind of a complicated new moon. It is with Mars. It happens at 20 degrees. It's conjuncting Mars. It's opposing Uranus in Taurus. But there's also a nice sextile between Mercury and Venus. So that's kind of the nice part of this new moon. It's just a little bit complicated, but the new moon in Scorpio really revolves around intimacy, issues of control and power, money, debt, our psychological processes, how we need to maybe dig deeper into our own psyche and who we are. With the conjunction to Mars, there's this need to take action and push forward. But with the opposition to Uranus, it just kind of brings an erratic energy. So that might not be the day to start something new with Uranus in that opposition. And it also brings again that kind of nervous energy that you get when you have Uranus involved. A Scorpio actually represents the process of elimination. I just want you to think about that. It helps us to get rid of the crap that's no longer serving us. I know that might sound a little bit deep, but indeed, that is part of what Scorpio represents. This is about understanding ourselves on a different level and exploring our own souls. And it's also about maybe revealing past hurts, past trauma, things that have held us back. And we don't have to reveal these things to someone else. This is about soul searching, searching for what might be still holding us back in our life from getting to where we want to be. Remember, Mars is involved, taking the action needed to get to where we need to be. So, this is about maybe admitting some of these things for ourselves. It's about exploring our own psyche and being able to, like I said, you don't have to tell anyone else. but at least have this inner conversation with yourself and maybe rid yourself of some of the things that have been holding you back. The sun is Scorpio, opposing Uranus and Taurus. Here we go again, Uranus. So again, nervous energy. But this can also, with the sun and Uranus, this can kind of be exciting. Like something exciting might happen. Like there's possibilities that something new and unexpected might happen, right? The sun is our ego, the core of who we are. And, this could be where we really want our independence, where we have kind of that fight, whether it be inward or outward, for freedom, for who we want to be, standing up for who we are. Uranus is the freak flag. Wave your freak flag. It wants freedom. It's rebellious. And this aspect can be a bit rebellious. But if you're feeling that way, just maybe rebel in a way that you won't regret later. So everybody stick around, because after the transits, I'm going to be going sign by sign, giving the good days for money and for love, and also going through when the moon will be in your sign. Did you know that every month we have a lunar return? And it's so interesting because the lunar return can kind of tell you a bit about how your month is going to go, sort of like the solar return tells us how our year is going to go. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But when the moon returns back to its natal place once a month, that begins our lunar return. Okay, on November 15th, this should be a nice day because Mercury in Sag is making a sextile to Venus in Libra. So this is really nice, friendly energy for a change. It's a good day to socialize, maybe have a party. It's charming energy. Our next aspect is on November 17th, and we have Mars and the Sun in Scorpio. They're making a trine to Neptune in Pisces. So this is really attractive energy, believe it or not. It's sexy energy. There's something really romantic about that trine between Mars and Neptune. And we can connect on that day on another level. There's just something very attractive going on with this. So we may feel more spiritually in tune or psychically in tune with those that we have contact with. This can also bring out the motivation to fight for a cause, Neptune being the cause, Mars being that action, or to stand up for the underdog. But it's a nice transit, and this is on November 17th. So Mars and the Sun have been doing this dance almost the entire November transits. And on November 18th, they are conjunct exactly right together. If you could look up in the sky, you would see Mars sitting right there beside the Sun. They're both in Scorpio, of course. So this combination can bring out a lot of energy, excess energy, and it can be used in a very positive way to go forward with your ambitions, with your dreams. It's also a very protective energy. I mean, God forbid that someone tried to do something to you or your family on a day when the Sun and Mars are conjunct, because it's very protective of those that it loves, protective of itself. But if this anger builds up, this can also be a physically destructive transit. But this transit affects us, mentally, physically, and sexually. It gives us energy in all of those areas. And for the most part, it's a good transit. But if, like I said, if you let that anger inside you build up, or if there's something already going on before this transit happens, it can be a bit destructive. So we move on to November 20th. And on the 20th, the Sun in Scorpio makes a beautiful sextile to Pluto in Capricorn. Now, this energy brings out the need to succeed, especially when it's in Scorpio and Capricorn. But use the energy on this day to move forward with plans and career or whatever your endeavors may be, but it's a positive energy and there's a push towards success when this energy happens. So on November 21st, Mars in Scorpio sextile Pluto in Capricorn, kind of like the sun making the see Mars and the sun are really doing this dance, going back and forth. So it is also sextiling Pluto in Capricorn. And this like brings this magnetic determination because Mars is involved. This is actually more of a sexual energy as well. So use that sexual magnetism to woo the love that you've been wanting to see, or I don't know, however that you need to use that sexual magnetism. On November 22nd, the sun enters Sagittarius. So it's always nice when the sun moves into Sag after it's been in Scorpio, because we're in this deep transformative Scorpio period, and then we come out into Sag, is like coming out into the freedom of Jupiter, the optimism of Jupiter. Sagittarius sun tends to make us all a little more optimistic and positive, like we can do anything because Jupiter is so expansive. It also has us thinking about what we believe in and where our faith is and what our philosophy is. So the sun going into Sag is a beautiful thing until right after the sun enters Sag, it moves into a square with Saturn in Pisces. So we don't get much of a break on the 22nd. This actually happens on the 23rd. And this is challenging energy again with the sun squaring Saturn. Again, it can bring on that anxious fear, doubt that we don't really understand, that may come from nowhere. It's this looking around you thinking something might happen, but not really knowing what it is. It feels restrictive, like we can't carry through with our plans, like there's obstacles in the way. And there may be. I mean, sometimes this could be actually, a physical obstacle happening, like, for instance, Saturn does rule our authority figures. So, a boss or a parent or whatever authority is in your life, it may feel like that they are putting roadblocks in front of you or obstacles in your way. And if you are the boss, try not to do that. Try to be careful of this aspect. But it is kind of that Debbie Downer kind of aspect. And so it may be better to spend alone time on this day. This is the 23rd of November. And kind of stay away from people a little bit and just remember what's happening. So when you have those nagging doubts and fears, you understand this is the collective sun making a square to Saturn. And maybe it's not quite as bad because at least you have an understanding of what's going on. So on November 24th, we have Mars entering Sagittarius. And Mars in Sagittarius is so interesting because to me, I've said this a lot. This is kind of my military aspect because Sag is ruled by Jupiter and represents what we believe in, what we have faith in, what we would go to battle for. And Mars is our action, the actual fighting or standing up for what we believe in. I like it when Mars goes into Sag because it gives us all that impetus to really stand up for ourselves, stand up for our beliefs, what we have faith in, what we believe in, what we're optimistic about. But then Mars moves into the same square with Saturn in Pisces. You see a trend going on here. This is tough energy because you feel like what you're passionate about, where you want to move forward, is blocked. It's again that restrictive energy that Saturn can bring. It can feel quite heavy. Also, this is the day, again, maybe to work alone, watch the authority figure thing representing Saturn, because that's not just a run-in with the boss, that's an actual fight with the boss, you know, possibly losing your job with Mars square Saturn. So just maybe watch what you say that day, watch your actions, don't be too impulsive, and just remember that this aspect will go pretty quickly, thankfully. On November 27th, we have the full moon in Gemini, which you would think would be a beautiful thing, right? Oh, not so much. This is called the Beaver Moon, and it happens at 4 degrees of Gemini, opposing the sun in Sagittarius, that is also with Mars. And Mercury is also at 24 degrees of Sag, and it's squaring Neptune. So here our thought processes are thrown off again. The full moon is also making a square to Saturn. So this is some complicated energy. This is sort of a complicated full moon. So let's break it down just a little bit. Both of the lunations this month involve Mars. So there is this impetus to take action at both the new moon and the full moon, but we're held back, especially at this full moon, with this square to Saturn going both ways. This is about, with Gemini and Sag, it's a balance between the higher mind and the lower mind. Now, that doesn't mean that Gemini is lower. It just means that Mercury rules Gemini, and they think about things on a more surface level. This is the learning axis. Is both are very intelligent signs, but it's about the balance where Gemini is happy to stay in its own vicinity and learn everything they can know about their neighborhood, everything around them in their current location. Jupiter rules Sag, and it wants to explore and go find out everything there is to know about the unknown. So we're looking to find a balance between the two. Then we have Mars urging us on, but at the same time, we have Saturn putting those restrictions or roadblocks in front of us. So I really had to think about this. What does this really mean for us? And, I think what it means is that perhaps we need to let go of the idea that we can do it all, that we can do everything, and focus on what we can do, not just in the world or around us, our current world, our home, our neighbors, but also on a bigger scale, everybody, the entire world. But what can we do on a personal level? What is practical? Mercury is very practical for the most part, but Jupiter definitely wants to think outside the box. So it's striking a balance between the two of being expansive, but also being practical, of being optimistic, but also being realistic. I think maybe that is a lot of what this full moon is about. And then Saturn is kind of holding us back from moving forward too quickly. So I don't think this is going to be the full moon where we immediately see results, but where they come slowly because Saturn's involved. So the last aspect I want to talk about for this month is Mercury in Sagittarius will be making a square to Neptune in Pisces. A lot of squares this month. But this aspect can bring confusion. It can bring misunderstandings. Our thinking may be a bit distorted, where we're just not thinking clearly about things. There may be a real lack of clarity this day. Just remember, Mercury does move quickly, so this aspect will only last for the 27th. But on the 27th, don't make quick decisions, and stay away from arguments that you don't need to have, because there's definitely the possibility of misunderstandings on this day. Now, of course, there's 3 more days in the month, but there's no major aspects happening after the 27th. But we do have the moon signs coming up right now, the best days of the month for you, for your money, for love, and also when the moon will be in your sign and the best things you can do to take advantage of that energy. These are opportunity days, days when it's good to invest money or maybe start a new job, that kind of thing, or for your love days when you might meet someone new, go out on a date, go on a dating app, that kind of thing. And I'm going to give you the best activities to do for each moon sign, how you can best take advantage of the energy of the moon. You know, I've told clients recently, especially clients that have Cancer moons or a lot of Cancer in their chart, they should really be following the signs and the phases of the moon, and it'll change your life. It really will. And that's just good astrology. And if you'd like to book a reading, look in the link below and we can go over more moon astrology. So let's start with you, Aries. So, Aries, the best dates for love for you in November are going to be the 14th and the 19th. And for money, we have the 25th and the 26th. The 23rd and the 24th, the moon will be in Aries in November. And this is a great time to start projects, play sports, exercise, to just expend energy. Great time for that. So in Taurus, your love days are the 6th and the 7th, and your money days are the 27th and the 28th. The moon will be in your sign on the 25th and the 26th. And this is a great time to spend time outside, talk to your plants, maybe do some gardening. It's also a great time to take care of money matters or matters of beauty. Get your hair cut, get your nails done, that kind of thing. Gemini, your love days are the 10th and the 19th, and your money days are the 2nd and the 3rd. The moon will be in your sign on the 27th and the 28th. And remember that full moon in Gemini. And so, but this is a great time to take a short trip. It's also a great time to write emails or have phone conversations. It's all great for communication, and for socializing. When the moon's in Gemini, it's also a good time to socialize. Cancer, your love day is the 13th. Sorry, Cancer, only had one for you. But your money days are the 5th and the 6th. The moon will be in your sign twice this month. It'll be there on the 2nd and 3rd, and also the 29th and 30th. So this is great for spending time with family, especially the women in your family, and all domestic matters, things around the house that you need to get done. Cooking a good dinner for yourself. It's also good for cuddling your family, cuddling your pets. Cancer is a good cuddle sign. Leo, your love days are the 10th and the 14th, and your money days are the 7th and the 8th. So when the moon is in Leo, it will be there on the 4th and 5th of November. And this is a great time for romance or projects where you are the star, going to a party, having a party, or playing like a child, or playing with children. All of those things for Leo moon. So Virgo, the 5th and the 6th are your love days, and the 10th and 11th are your money days. The moon will be in your sign on the 7th and the 8th. And this is a great time for cleaning, organizing, multitasking, helping others, loving on your pet. Yeah. Did you know that the 6th house, where Virgo is king, rules small pets? So yeah, love on your pets when there's a Virgo moon. Love on your pets all the time, but especially during a Virgo moon. For Libra, the 19th and 24th are your love days. The 12th and 13th are your money days. Okay, the moon will be in Libra on the 9th and the 10th. And this is great. Get this, for shopping. It's also great for decorating, paying special attention to your relationships, maybe going on a date, and also taking care of legal matters. Yeah. Did you know that Saturn is exalted in Libra? Just think about that. Libra wants justice. It is the sign of the scales. So, among all the other things that Libra rules, it also has to do with our justice as well. Scorpio, the 3rd and the 7th are your love days. The 14th and 15th are your money days. The moon will be in your sign on the 12th and the 13th. This is a great time for investigation, intimacy, study, putting on your sexy, whatever that means for you. I don't know. Also for handling taxes or paying off debts, which is definitely not so sexy. But Scorpio moon is great for all of those things. For Sagittarius, the 10th and 11th are your love days, and the 16th and 17th are your money days. So the moon will be in your sign on the 14th and the 15th. And this is a great time just to be spontaneous, to dig into philosophy or religion, learn another language, eat some foreign food, go to a foreign place, and riding horses. Yeah, Sag is the sign of the equestrian. For Capricorn, the 6th and the 7th for love, and the 18th and 19th for money. The moon will be in your sign on the 16th and the 17th. And this is a good time for business matters, whether at work or at home, to family responsibilities, organizing, taking care of those things that possibly you've put off, but taking care of your family. Also, go out and look at great architecture or study architecture. Did you know that Capricorn rules the architecture of the world? Isn't that amazing? But these lasting structures are very Saturnian. Aquarius. For love, we have the 20th, the 21st, and the 28th. And also the 20th and 21st are good for money. So, hey, you can double it up, Aquarius. You can get your love and money in at the same time on the same day. The moon will be in Aquarius on the 18th, the 19th, and the 20th. Try something new. Okay. Spend time with friends, spend time networking, make a wish list, and study astrology or listen to an astrology video. All of those things great when the moon is in Aquarius. And for Pisces, the 6th and 7th for love, and the 23rd and 24th for your money. And the moon is in Pisces today while I'm making this video, and it will be in Pisces in November on the 21st and the 22nd. So dream, meditate, spend alone time, go to the lake, go to the river, go to the ocean, spend time near or on the water, take a good bath, or cry. This is a good time to let out your feelings when the moon is in Pisces. I hope you all have a beautiful, wonderful November. If you'd like to book a reading, please see the link in the notes below. And it was great seeing you. Bye from Florida.